Joe, the team starts the year with 3 senior wide receivers. By the end of the year, you were the only one left. What was it like working with such a young core?
It was definitely different. You know, they were most of them were 3 years younger than I was, or even 4 years younger than I was. So I was the old man of the group, and they voiced that quite a bit. They gave me a hard time about it, but it was fun. You know, towards the end of the year, it definitely was a lot more fun. Started getting to know them a little bit better, and we had a good time.
Coach, there were a lot of young guys on this team that seemed to contribute throughout the year. You know, Ryan Kent, Caleb Bednarz. What is this young group of players going to do the next couple years to improve?
Well, you never know, you know, because they are young. Mm-hmm. And they've got lots of talent, but our seniors, when they were young, you know, you were looking at them thinking, man, I hope this guy does this and that and so on, and he might be really good or he might be great, and you don't ever know. And so it depends on whether they develop the work ethic that this senior class developed. And if they do, then they have a chance to be really, really great, because there are some really fantastic guys there. But it's college football, and you got to be willing to work at it, and you got to be willing to do it, you know, for 4 years in a row.
Well, the Red Zone followed the Cardinals on their 2011 campaign, both on and off the field. Let's take a look at our favorite moments from this season in this week's Cardinal Corner. It was a record-breaking season for the North Central Cardinals, and it started out with their longest trip in recent memory. The 2011 Cardinals swapped their bus ride opening week for plane tickets to Redlands, California, almost 2,000 miles away. The trip is one of the longest ever for the team and carries on a tradition that was started almost a decade ago.
They started about 10 years ago with then Athletic Director Walter Johnson and our current Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Rick Spencer, looking for ways to get our athletic teams out around the country as a way to help us with recruiting, but then it was also a way for us to continue to build our alumni clubs, regional alumni clubs around the country.
Getting the team, all 90 of them on one plane, was a bit challenging, but we made that happen, as well as, you know, we found a great hotel, and the staff at Redlands has been fabulous. So they've really worked with me on making sure, you know, the accommodations and the food and everything will be spectacular once we get out there. So they've been very hospitable. Success
on the field was a given for the Cardinals, but they proved they could find success off the field as well.
We know that, you know, this is Division III football, you know, even though we have a great team and we're ranked high in the country, most of us aren't going to the NFL. It's just not, you know, not what is going to happen. So, you know, we're here to get our degree first, and you know, athletics is always second.
The veterans on this Cardinal team make sure to instill academic pride and mentor younger players to make the transition to college as easy as possible, and to earn some bragging rights among their teammates.
We have like a competition between like wide receivers, defensive backs, O-line, D-line, quarterbacks, running backs, and whichever group has the best GPA, you get like a certain type of reward, like a hat or a t-shirt.
Coach Thorne actually tells us to sit at the front of the room, take your hat off, and, you know, greet and then say goodbye to the professor every single class, and we do.
Like any winning team, there was a sense of brotherhood amongst the North Central Cardinals. But when the Cardinals say the guy lining up next to them is like a brother, some of them, like identical twins Peter and Alex Mann, mean that literally.
And there's a lot of brothers on the team, and I mean, me and Alex are talking about there's nothing funner than playing football with like someone in your family.
In total, the Cardinals have 5 sets of brothers on the team, and that can make for some interesting matchups when the Cardinals go head-to-head in practice.
We get to go against each other in practice because I play on the O-line, he plays on the D-line. So it's a lot of fun, pretty competitive. We used to scrap around a little bit when we were younger, kind of wrestling and stuff, but we got a little too big for that, and someone to get hurt.
Even though the twins grew up together competing in various sports, the Manns now reserve the battles for the gridiron. It didn't just take actual family to show the unity, as a few members of the team decided they wanted to show their Cardinal pride in a unique way before the team took on their first-round opponent, the University of Dubuque, sacrificing their heads and faces to the beauty salon and dyeing their hair Cardinal red before the team faced off against the Spartans. But it was no easy task. You can't just put red dye on any color hair and expect it to turn out right. So the players first had to bleach each section they chose to dye to lighten up the hair. And after waiting patiently, the bleach was washed out and the dye was applied.
Well, the tingling subsided, so just feels like I got gel on my face right now.
First, it started off pretty intense. A lot of pungent to the nostrils, to say the least. The eyes were tearing up. Got better as time went on, though, so it didn't feel too bad.
Coach, a lot of characters on this team were probably on the defensive side of the ball, but when business came to business, they got it done. Am I right?
Well, I don't know whether you want to talk about the characters or not, because we had plenty of characters, and probably on both sides of the ball. And that's part of what made it really fun, you know. And the guys did get their jobs done extremely well. And I just hope our seniors have a chance to just stay connected and communicating with the young guys, but also you know, when they get out in the real world, we want them to come back. You know, they're going to be Cardinals forever, and we can't wait to hear the stories about their jobs and their families and all these wonderful things that are going to happen in the rest of their life.
On the defensive line, Valente Garza, Willie Hayes, and Peter Bulander combined for 30 sacks. How much is the team going to miss them, or do you guys feel that there are guys ready to step up and take that role?
There are never enough guys ready to take of the slack of those three. I mean, those three were very special in many ways. But quarterback sacking was something that they really had fun doing, you know. And Joe's brother was a huge part of the guys learning how to get to the quarterback and having the enthusiasm, the excitement, the work ethic, and all of those things. So we need some more Antonaccis around, and we need some more of these wild guy defensive linemen around.
Well, the Red Zone was there to see the defense dominate throughout the season. Here's some of our favorite game changers. The number 5 moment on defense goes to the performance the unit put in against Bethel when the Cardinals tied a school record, recording 8 sacks in the game. The Cardinals recovered 8 fumbles this season, and the biggest return came when Connor Douglas scooped up a loose ball against North Park and went 40 yards for the score. Joey Michaels' 88 tackles on the season takes the number 3 moment as he does what he does best against Milliken. Peter Bulander was named the CCIW Defensive Player of the Year, and he shows why against the Wheaton Thunder. But the top defensive moment is the 6 interception return for touchdowns the Cardinals had this season, tying a national record, capped off by Josh Mitchell's 93-yard return against Elmhurst. Joe, you had the best seat in the house for every one of those interception return for touchdowns. What was it like watching this defensive unit go to work?
It's awesome. And, you know, I'm always watching on third down because I'm waiting for him to punt. So deep down inside, I'm really excited. And sometimes in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, darn, I wanted to go out there and catch a punt return and try to take it back. But it was awesome watching those guys. I'm always waiting for the D-line to get a sack and back them up so we can get another punt in. And it's just exciting to watch because they do it so often.
Coach, you guys are really gunning for that national record. I mean, you tied it with the 6 pick sixes throughout the year, but you guys were really hoping for that 7th, weren't you, in the past couple games?
We were, and I'm sure I put way too much pressure on the guys. You know, I should have just kept my mouth shut and just let them relax and enjoy it, you know. And but they did some great things, and we're hoping that a lot of those are going to continue next year.
And you mentioned that there could be some shifting from wide receiver to defensive back. How important is it to keep guys fresh and find their the ultimate position that benefits the team?
Well, that's the whole secret, you know, in coaching, is you've got to look at the players you have and try and put them in positions that they can use the talent that God gave them and make the kind of plays you need at that position, you know. And it's like a jigsaw puzzle, you know. If you put it together incorrectly, it doesn't work. If you put it together, every piece in place the way it's supposed to be, it's a gorgeous picture. And so it's really fun to try and work through that. It's not an easy process. So I'm sure we'll spend a lot of late nights studying things and trying to figure out what, you know, each player can do to help the team.
Right. Well, Coach Joe, thanks again so much for coming to join us, and congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
That wraps up the 2011 North Central College Red Zone. Make sure to tune into the Cardinal Report in the new year to stay up to date on all things North Central College athletics. Thanks again to Coach John Thorne, his entire staff, and the players for letting the Red Zone be a part of another record-breaking season. We'll see you next year on the Red Zone.